Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today, Thursday, 4/19, we did pastels, particularly pan pastels, on the Livestream channel, Art Joy of Sharing Livestream. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, that's Peg Robinson and I's channel. You can go over there and subscribe. And this is the project that I did on that live stream today. I started out with my drawing beforehand on some pastel paper, which is a paper that has a lot of nooks and crannies. It has a lot of tooth, so that the pastel, as you glide it on there, has a place to settle in. And I did that in graphite pencil. I kind of wished I had done it in pastel now because it would have blended better. But I like lines around my things anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I just kind of like, wished I would have done that in pastel pencil. I have actually two sets of 20 of the pan pastels. One's the portrait set and one is the painting set. And I will leave links below the video where you can purchase those on Amazon. And I have divided them into 4 trays that have 10 each, but they're not all the way full because there was a couple duplicates of colors. So I didn't put the duplicates in. I just have them in a box. But I was under the impression I wasn't going to get any duplicates when I purchased them that way. According to the frugal crafter, Lindsay, she said that that was a good way to purchase them if you didn't have any at all. And it also comes with some of the soft tools, which is a high density foam that you can use to apply the pan pastel. Now, pan pastel is very highly pigmented, artist quality pigments. They come in the pigmented colors, then they come in tints, which has the color plus white mixed in, and then that comes in shades, which have the color plus black mixed in. So you have a lot of options of what you get. There's also metallics, which I don't have any, but if you want to see the metallics, the live stream today, at the end of it, Peg demonstrated her pan pastel metallics, and they're really nice. Now I want some, of course. Thanks for enabling me. So I'm using a combination of soft tools. In the background, I use the larger ones. There's pointy ones, there's rounded ones, there's ones that kind of look like cosmetic sponges. In fact, they probably could be cosmetic sponges, but they're higher density. They're heavier and thicker. And then for more detailed work, I'm using the soft tools that have different tips. And at some point here in this video, I'll show you the different tips, but I'm not sure exactly where it is. Basically, what I did was I took the 1.5 hour video and trimmed out all the parts that were Peg's where she was working and just left mine in. This one actually looks like an eyeshadow applicator, but it's not. It's a soft tool. It's one of the ones that came with my kits. So I was trying that out. This is the very pointy one. It has comes to a very sharp point, so you can do the more detailed work in between. And then there's one that's like a flat brush, which is probably my favorite, the very squared off tip. And then there's one that has a rounded tip, like a filbert brush, and then one that has more of a point and round, which would be like a round brush. So I think they even call them brushes. They call this painting even though there is no actual paint involved. It's a pastel product. So also on my desk, you will see me in later on using some pastel pencils from Derwent. I use those to add more detail and kind of, do my lines like I like to do. I like an illustrative look, and pastels are often too muted and soft for me. We were talking about sealing, and as I'm sealing through the different layers as I add them, just like any mixed media product, you're adding one layer on top of another on top of another. I'm using the Spectrafix fixative, which is a non-stinky, non-aerosol spray. It has a pump spray, and it's a workable fixative, so you can spray that on, let it dry. It dries really quickly, and then move on to your next layer. So I am sealing my layers in between. What I had forgotten, though, as you'll see me peeling off my washi tape, I had taped my pastel paper down with washi tape, and I forgot how much that pastel paper likes to curl and buckle when you put the Spectrafix on it, because it is a little bit of wet. and I was having a lot of trouble with my washi tape peeling up. So now what I'm doing is using a Versamark ink, which is a watermarking or embossing clear ink, and I was sponging that through a fern stencil and then going over it again with some pastel. And what that does is it leaves like a kind of an oily, sticky residue that attracts the powdery pastel. So when you go over it, it highlights and darkens the area where you've put the ink. You can use any type of embossing ink. It doesn't have to be a Versamark. That just happened to be what I have. Or really anything sticky will work. Anything that something like embossing powder sticks to. So comes in all types of forms and brands. So now I have my Derwent pastel pencils. These are just exactly what it sounds like. It's a chalk pastel inside of a pencil that can be sharpened. And I have a set of them that I purchased that I got for Christmas at the same time that I got for Christmas all these pastels, because I put them on my Christmas list. That's how it goes. I have a mom and a best friend who love to buy me art supplies. So at first I'm putting the pencil on and highlighting all the areas that I want to have like more control with, like more control than the tiny little tool will do for me. And then I was blending it with the tool, and then later I got out some paper blending stumps and was blending it with that. I also blended my pencil somewhat with my finger. So now I'm getting to the central figure. I worked on both sides of my regular looking giraffes, and then I'm getting to the central giraffe, which is a Giraffacorn, which that's what this painting is about, to be standing tall, standing out, being unique, being yourself, being a Giraffacorn. And where I heard Giraffacorn, actually, I like to watch a couple different cake baking, decorating shows on YouTube, and one of them is called Man About Cake. And they were talking about Giraffacorns because apparently they were laughing at the long neck that the cake had when they made a unicorn cake. I think the guy's name is Joshua John Russell. Is that right? I don't know. Anyway, he's with Craftsy, and they do a cake show every Tuesday, and I watch that one as well as how to cake it. Because I don't ever make any of these fancy cakes. I have in the past, but I haven't recently. I just like to watch it. It's just zen. I just enjoy watching it. So that's where I got the idea of a Giraffacorn. And when I heard that, I thought that it would be so funny to make. And so I wanted to make one, and that was yesterday, and today I made a Giraffacorn. That's how that goes. I don't know if this is exactly what it's supposed to look like, but I thought, well, if it's a unicorn, it's probably rainbow. It has a rainbow mane and you know, a yellow, gold, shiny horn, and probably has rainbow spots. So that's where I went with it. Another little tip that I forgot to mention when I was actually doing it is I had this giraffe on the right side done, and I put a piece of paper over it so that I could, because I keep putting my hand in it. That's one thing about pastels, is that they will smear a little bit until you seal them. Once they're sealed, they're fine, but up until that point you might smear. Of course, then I took the paper off and I was doing detailing with a pencil, and then I never forgot to put it back on. You know how that goes. I should have it on right now because, as you can see, the side of my hand is over that area where I have already finished it, and I might be smearing it some. So I hope you've enjoyed this little quickie voiced over version of the live stream. If you really want to see actual real time of me working on this, you can of course go over to the Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel and watch the show. Obviously it won't be live anymore, but it's recorded on the channel. And of course be sure to give it a thumbs up. Give this one a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question if you have one. Share this if you think that somebody would like a Giraffacorn. And of course subscribe if you haven't already. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.